Hi, I'm Manas. In India, schooling, in one form or the other, begins at age 3 and sometimes even at 2.5. With multiple terms floating around different media and social circles, and the educational and daycare institutions in this space adding to the confusion, it can be quite perplexing for a parent to comprehend and take a decision about where to send their child. This video attempts to simplify these words and terminologies and present the options open to parents for their children from birth to 6 years of age in a simple manner. Let's begin. Daycare. This is exactly what it is. Care during the day for your child, while you go and achieve other things in life, like earning money, or going to the butcher's, or just taking some me time. As long as your child has been weaned off mother's milk, you have zeroed in on a daycare that inspires confidence in you. Your child gets over initial bouts of separation anxiety, and you leave enough supplies with the daycare, or the daycare is able to meet your child's demands for food, diapers, etc. You're good to go. You may be thinking that daycare is required only until your child starts schooling at age 3 or 2.5, after which there's no need for daycare since the child goes to school in some format or the other. What you may want to keep in mind is that school between the age of 3 and 6 is usually for a duration of 3 to 4 hours at best. What if you, as a parent, need more time and need your child cared for while you complete whatever it is you need to do? Thus, some schools offer pre and post care for such children. If the school does not have this additional option, you will need to find a traditional daycare facility. However, that introduces the additional headache of moving your child from school to the daycare location. We have twice mentioned the age 2.5. We will come back to this in detail at a later stage. Remember, the objective of daycare is to care for your child, keep her clean, fed, and happy. Daycare is not about educating your child or about expanding her horizons. Ergo, daycare is not school or preschool. What's a good age to leave your child in a daycare facility, you may ask? There is no benchmark. We know parents who started leaving their child in a daycare soon after the child was weaned off mother's milk. And we know parents who considered daycare much later. It really depends on the needs of parents to achieve other tasks and the confidence that the daycare facility gives the parents. Preschool. Let us now discuss the broad term that is preschool. Before we get into the various options open for children between the age of 3 to 6. Traditional school, which begins with grade 1, starts at age 6. So anything before this is by default called preschool. You already know that children in India are required to have reached the age of 3 or 2.5 before they can be taken in by any institution that runs a preschool setup. So the question is, where do you send your child for these 3 years of preschool? What are the available options? A. Preschool options in India. The following methodologies of preschool development for children are available in India. Kindergarten or kindergarten, meaning garden of children, was created by a German, Froebel, in the first half of the 19th century. Montessori. Montessori preschools, also called primary schools in the Montessori terminology. This method was started by Maria Montessori, an Italian, in the early years of the 20th century. The least known is the Waldorf methodology. based on the philosophy of Rudolf Steiner. The first school opened in Germany in the early years of the 20th century. While preschools based on this method are to be found in India, they are very few in comparison to kindergarten and Montessori. There is a fourth type of preschool that is seen in India. This is basically a masala of two or all three of the above methods, and sometimes a few practices that cannot be traced to any of them. You will notice their websites and promotional material loosely mixing the terms kindergarten, Montessori, and even nursery and play school. Some of these institutions claim they have taken the best of all the methods and created a suitable mix for your child's development. We have brought this topic to a point where you are now aware of the preschool options open for your child in India and the role of the daycare from 0 to 3 as well as from 3 to 6 years of age. Stay with us as we discuss the following in the second part of this video: the broad characteristics of the various methods and the broad differences between the methods.